I found it in the trash. On my birthday. Not a gift. Not a card. A crumpled piece of paper at the bottom of my daughter's bathroom wastebasket while I was cleaning, because even with a broken hip, I was still cleaning her house. The handwriting was Sarah's. Perfect cursive. The kind I'd paid a tutor $200 a month to teach her. Mom's recovery is taking forever. I can't do this anymore. She's becoming a burden. Ryan agrees. We need our space back. I'll just tell her the doctor cleared her to go home early.
She'll believe me.
She always does. My hands didn't shake. That's what still haunts me. I just stood there, 52 years old, reading the words my daughter wrote about me like I was a house guest who'd overstayed her welcome. The worst part? She was right. I always did believe her. Because I'd spent 17 years raising her. And 23 years after that raising her children. 1,200 nights of babysitting. 1,200 times I said yes. And the one time I needed her, I became the problem she needed to solve. I didn't cry. I folded the letter, put it back exactly where I found it, and finished making her bed. Hospital corners. The way I'd always done it. Then I went downstairs and watched her laugh with her husband about some TV show, and I smiled like nothing had changed. But everything had. Let me take you back. Because this didn't start with that letter. It started 33 years ago when I held Sarah for the first time and made myself a promise. I would never be like my mother. Cold. Distant. Treating children like obligations instead of gifts. I kept that promise. God, did I keep it? I was at every school play, even when she was tree number 4 with no lines. I held her through her first heartbreak at 16. When her father walked out, I worked double shifts as a nurse to put her through law school. I was there for everything. And when she had the twins 7 years ago, Emma and Lily, I was there for them too. Every week. Sometimes 3 times a week. Date nights. Work emergencies. Girls' trips to Napa. Kitchen renovations. I showed up. I rocked those babies to sleep. I made my famous mac and cheese. I became Mimi, the grandmother who never said no. 1,200 nights. I kept count in a journal. Not for guilt. I just wanted to remember. The way Emma held my hand when she fell asleep. The way Lily made me coffee with water and imaginary sugar. I never asked for money. Sarah offered once, and I'd laughed. You're my daughter. This is what family does. I didn't know I was spending everything I had on someone who was already calculating my expiration date. The first crack came 6 months before my surgery.
Small.
Barely noticeable. Sarah called, frantic. Lice outbreak at school. Could I take the twins overnight? She had a major case filing in the morning. I'd just finished a 12-hour shift. I was 51. Exhausted. But I said yes. I spent 4 hours combing vinegar through their hair. Washing every sheet. Vacuuming every surface. I fell asleep on her couch at 2 a.m. Sarah came home the next morning with Starbucks. 1 cup. For herself. You're a lifesaver, Mom. I don't know what I'd do without you. She left 10 minutes later. I cleaned up breakfast. Let myself out. And on the drive home, something whispered in the back of my mind. Does she see me as a person? Or just as someone useful? I pushed it away. Told myself I was being selfish. But that whisper stayed. Then I broke my hip. Black ice. February. 1 second I was fine. The next I was on the ground with pain exploding through my body. The surgery went well, but recovery was brutal. 6 weeks non-weight bearing. I couldn't live alone. Sarah insisted I stay with them. She was so enthusiastic about it, I actually believed her. That was my mistake. After I found the letter, I waited.
Watched.
That evening, Sarah knocked on my door with her client smile.
Polished.
Professional. Great news, Mom. I talked to Dr. Patel's office. They said you're healing better than expected. You can probably go home now. I looked at her. At the baby I'd rocked. The girl I'd taught to drive. Dr. Patel said that? His nurse did. They're really pleased. I smiled. The same smile I gave her father when I found out about the affair. The smile you wear when you need time. Wonderful. I'll call them tomorrow to confirm. Her face flickered. Just for a second. You don't need to bother them. I'd like to hear it myself. She left fast. I heard urgent whispers with Ryan through the walls. I called Dr. Patel the next morning. Mrs. Richardson, he said, surprised. I wanted to talk to you about extending your stay. You're doing well, but you need at least 3 more weeks. Maybe 4. Has someone told you otherwise? She'd lied. To my doctor. To get rid of me faster. I thanked him and hung up. Then I sat on that guest bed and felt something crack open inside me. Not anger.
Curiosity.
If she lied about this, what else was a lie? I started paying attention. Real attention. She never asked how I felt. Never checked on me at night when I struggled to get to the bathroom with my walker. But she had time for cycling classes.
Brunch.
Book club. The twins visited once in 3 weeks.
Once.
Sarah brought them to my door for 5 minutes. Emma looked confused. But Mimi, you always read to us. Sarah laughed. Too bright. Not right now, sweetie. Mimi needs rest. I wasn't just unwelcome. I was being erased. I found her planner in her office. Color-coded. Meticulous. I flipped back through the months. Every week I'd babysat was marked in green. Mom, twins. Sometimes 2, 3 times a week. But in the margins on those same days, other entries. Spa day. Hot yoga. Dinner with Mark and Jen. Date night. She hadn't needed me for emergencies. She'd needed me so she could live her life without her own children. Then I found her emails. One thread with Ryan from 18 months ago. Subject: Mom boundaries. Ryan. She's here constantly. We never have family time alone. Sarah. I know. But she's so helpful. It's easier to just let her. Ryan. You're setting a precedent. She'll expect this forever. Sarah. You're right. I'll handle it after the holidays. She never did. Another email. Sent to my younger daughter Claire 3 weeks earlier. Claire, I can't do this anymore. Mom is driving me insane. She's so needy. I didn't sign up to be her caretaker. I have my own life. I sat in the dark of her office, staring at those words. I'd given everything. And somehow, I'd become the villain. I recognized myself in those emails. Not as I was. As I'd feared becoming. My mother. The burden. The obligation. I'd spent my whole life running from that. And here I was anyway. Because sacrifice doesn't guarantee gratitude. You can give someone everything and still be the inconvenience they need to solve. I'd been so busy being needed, I never asked if I was wanted. That night, Sarah checked on me. First time in days. You okay, Mom? You've been quiet. I looked at her. At my first baby. The person I'd have died for. Just tired, I said. Get some rest. And she was gone. I left 2 days later. Not because she kicked me out. Because I chose to. I called Claire. My younger daughter. The one who lived in Oregon and called me every Sunday without fail. Mom? What's wrong? Can I come stay with you? Of course. When? Tomorrow.
No hesitation.
No questions. Just, I'll get your room ready. I'd been so focused on the daughter who took, I'd forgotten the daughter who gave. When I told Sarah, she looked shocked. But you're not ready, Dr. Patel said. I talked to Dr. Patel, I said quietly. He said I'm well enough to recover at Claire's. Single-story home. Easier for my hip. Her face went pale.
Oh.
I didn't realize you'd talked to him. I did. Silence. If this is about me being busy, it's not. You've been generous. But it's time. She didn't argue.
Didn't ask me to stay.
She looked relieved. Ryan drove me to the airport. Sarah had a work thing. The twins didn't say goodbye. Claire picked me up in Portland. She'd made soup. Bought a shower chair. Cleared her schedule. I'm so glad you're here, Mom. I'd visited Claire 3 times in 10 years. Sarah? Hundreds. I'd given everything to the child who wanted my service. Nothing to the child who wanted my presence. Over the next weeks, Claire and I talked. Really talked. You were always at Sarah's, she said one night. Always with the twins. I'd invite you to visit, and you'd say you couldn't leave because Sarah needed you. She did need me. So did I, Mom. That broke me. I cried in Claire's arms and finally understood. Love isn't measured by sacrifice. It's measured by presence. And I've been present in all the wrong ways. I never went back to babysit. Never went back to live. Sarah called twice the first month. Once to check on me. Once to ask if I'd fly back for Emma's birthday because the girls miss you. I said no. First time in 33 years. Mom, they're heartbroken. Then maybe you should comfort them. She hung up. 3 months later, she called again. Her voice was small. I found the letter. The one from my birthday. In the trash. I waited. I didn't know you'd seen it. Yes, you did, I said. Not cruel. Just true. You just didn't think I'd ever find out. She cried. I was awful. I'm so sorry. I believed her. That's the thing about being a mother. You always believe them. I forgive you, I said. But I can't go back to who I was. We talk now. Every few weeks. Surface conversations. She's invited me to visit twice. I've said no. Maybe someday I'll say yes. But right now I'm learning something new. Here in Claire's home. In this second chapter one never expected. I'm learning that I don't have to earn love by being useful. That my worth isn't measured by how many people need me. That rest isn't selfish. I'm learning that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop giving to people who only know how to take. And you know what? If you're listening to this and something stirred in you, whether you're the parent who's given too much, or maybe the child who's realized they've taken someone for granted, you're not alone. Sometimes we need to hear each other's stories to understand our own. If this touched you, share it. Not for me. For everyone still learning the difference between love and losing yourself. The twins are 10 now. They've stopped asking why Mimi doesn't visit. And I've stopped wondering if that makes me the villain. Because sometimes, saving yourself means disappointing the people you'd once have died for. And that's not cruelty. That's survival. I'm telling you this now, for everyone who has ever given too much of themselves away. Your love is not a currency to be spent until you're empty. Your worth is not measured by your usefulness. If this story found a home in your heart, if you've ever been the giver or you're realizing you've been the taker, then share it. Share it for the person who needs to hear it most. Share it and remember, it's never too late to choose yourself.